Hey everybody, it's Jim from Jim's Wholiest. I hope everybody's staying safe and we're getting through it. The COVID-19. Um, I'm sure everyone's at home getting things done, maybe doing some chores or maybe a project in your house that you've been putting off. And that's what I did. We did some painting and so forth, and of course my Coleus. So I'm going to do a real quick video on hardening. Again, it depends on where you are. Again, I'm in the United States, New Jersey. We're in spring, approaching summer. Summer is really obvious, June. So what you need to do once you get your Coleus start when they're more mature, especially if you're growing them by seed indoors, in order for you, if you want to keep your Coleus outside during the summer and so forth, make planters and so forth, you need to get them used to being outdoors. If you take a Coleus that's been inside in a planter or pot and you just put it outside and leave it, it's probably not going to do well, especially if it's not really a mature Coleus. So what you need to do is something called hardening. And what hardening is just a systematic way of introducing the stresses of outdoors. The temperature change. There's a big difference between indoor temperatures and indoor environments, whether it's on a rack or a little indoor greenhouse. 70 degrees, it's always 70, it might fluctuate a little bit. It's a big difference between being indoors and being outside. Winds, temperature changes, the sun comes and goes, clouds come and go, and the plant has to get used to that. If you just throw your Coleus outdoors, it's going to get stressed out, especially if it's not quite really warm. I mean, obviously if you put it right out in really hot weather, it's just not used to it. So you need to acclimate your Coleus plant slowly each day, and I'll show you how I do it. Okay, so we just got a thunderstorm through here, and it's about 58 degrees, and there's a light wind, and we got some sun. So when you harden your Coleus, and it doesn't matter if you have 1 or 2 or 300 or whatever, you want to put them out every day. Morning's good, morning sun or so, it really doesn't matter, but you want to put them out every day for about 2 hours and then bring them back inside. And again, what that does is it gets them used to being outdoors, but it doesn't shock them. It's 2 hours, and it's a little bit windy, but it's not really. As you can see, it's just a light wind. You don't want to put them out during high winds because you're going to really damage the plant. But you can see it's just a nice light breeze. This is ideal for hardening your Coleus. I got some sun. It's about 5 o'clock, so it's afternoon sun. It's not strong. Again, it's only just April. So as you can see, and a lot of them are still coming back from being trimmed. I got a lot of undergrowth coming in. Here's a few pots I made up, and it did rain. I did have them out. That's another thing I just wanted to mention. It was at the tail end of the thunderstorm. It passed already, but it was just light rain, so I put them out. And you can do that also. If you're getting a light rain, put them out. As long as it's not a heavy thunderstorm with really heavy rains and heavy winds, you can put them out in a light rain. That'll really do wonders. There's nothing like rain. Again, you want to get them used to being outdoors. See, there you go. See, there's a nice light breeze, but it's nothing sustained. It's not something that's going to damage the Coleus. If it starts to really kick up, I'm going to bring them in again. I'm just going to keep these out for an hour or two. I mean, it's 5:30. 55, it's 55 isn't bad, so I'll probably just keep them out an hour or so. Once the weather gets a little warmer next week, I'm actually going to bring these in to my greenhouse, because I'm looking at the forecast, and tonight and tomorrow night it's supposed to be in the upper 30s, mid 30s, but after that it's going to be 40s and 50s overnight. So I'm going to bring these out into the greenhouse. But when you're hardening them, don't put them out if it's below 55. It's just still a little too chilly. 55 or above, as long as there's some sun. Again, you can put them out in a little bit of rain, but as long as it's above, 55 or above and relatively calm, then you can overwinter your Coleus. I'm sorry, then you can harden your Coleus. You can see I haven't pruned anything really. I went through a couple of them. Here's one. Here's sort of a leggy. It's kind of top heavy. This one needs to be cut. You can see it's really long and leggy, but I got these heavy leaves, the heavy leaves up here that are just knocking it over, so that needs to be trimmed. And you're gonna get that. You can just get them at this point now. They're just getting, I want to get that bottom growth in. And then honestly, based on my experience of what I do each year, the real growth magic doesn't happen till I move them out into my greenhouse, because the increased humidity, because I put water, just from watering them, being enclosed in a greenhouse really boosts the humidity, and that's where these thrive, humid weather. So we just haven't had any humid weather. So now I just went in my front. I kind of split them up. I had some of my trays in my backyard and some on my front. So I just putting them out in the front of my house, because I'm getting good sun here, and it's not intense right now. It's again afternoon. I gave them a good shot of water. It's a nice little, there's a little idea for you. You can really do anything with them. That's really nice, isn't it? So I'm just gonna give them a good shot. I had I had these inside, obviously, and I noticed I was getting a little bit of bugs. And I never had them in my house. They were very small little gnats. So I gave all of my plants a little spritz of that insect soap, cleaning soap, and that gives it a stick. It's a little bit don't spray it heavily on them when they're young like this. It's sort of a little bit of a stress on them, so it kind of took a little bit of a little out of them, but they're coming back. It didn't harm them, but it's still a chemical, although it's safe. But and it's been chilly. Until I get these out in the greenhouse, they're not gonna really explode. These are tropical plants, so they really need to get in. I need to get these out in the greenhouse. I just wanted to wait until the night temperatures are consistently above 45, because I have a heater for my outdoor greenhouse, and that'll keep it. I just don't want to risk losing any of these. Even though if temperatures drop to 35 overnight, the heater will keep it pretty warm in the greenhouse, but it still may drop to 45, 50. So I don't want to stress them out. So next week I'm planning on putting them in my greenhouse, because temperatures are supposed to be in the upper 40s and 50s overnight. That's long term. So, and even if I do get one night it's 38, it's not going to harm them. But they really need to get inside a greenhouse. And as I water them in my greenhouse and it's damp in there, the moisture, it turns into humidity, and that's really when the magic happens. So I got quite a few trays here. As you can see, there's some more pots that I created, and these will fill out really nice. They're doing very well now. There's a nice jitters. We just had, like I said, we just got a thunderstorm rolling through here, and it was a little windy, but it's nice now. It's really, this is an ideal day to harden your Coleus. So if you're at this stage here and you have Coleus plants and you're intending on giving them to friends or what have you, or you plan on putting them outside in your flower beds, you really need to do this. Again, every day for about 2 weeks, about 2 hours, just give them this shot of outdoor temperatures. So, all right, so stay tuned. We're going to be doing, I'll be shooting that next video when I open up my greenhouse, and I'll go over some pots and plans on what I'm going to be doing, hanging baskets and other things. So that's when the fun starts. So stay tuned, because we have a lot of good, interesting videos coming up. So just follow along. If your plants are not quite at this size yet, be patient. You have plenty of time. Once they get at this size, then you can harden them. But if they're younger than these, if your Coleus don't look around this size and they're a lot more tender, don't harden them yet, just because I shot the video. I know you're trying to follow along, but you know, they should be at least this size before you start hardening them. Same thing for those of you, I know I gave a couple of followers a website that I buy. Every once in a while I buy new Coleus each year. When you get live Coleus plugs in the mail, first thing you got to do obviously is plant it into a pot and keep it indoors for at least a month so it gets established in that pot. Then you can slowly harden it for another couple of weeks, and then once it gets established well enough in a pot, then you can decide where you want to put it outdoors, and it'll get so huge then you'll be able to cut little branches off and root them, and then get multiple Coleus. So all right, so we still got plenty of time and lots ahead of us, so thanks for following along. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to ask. Again, if you have pictures or your Coleus, you have problems with it, I have an Instagram channel, a Facebook page, Jim's Wholiest Coleus. Shoot me a picture if you have a problem or question of your Coleus, and I'd be happy to help you out and answer any questions. So, okay, so thanks for following along, and we'll see you guys soon, and hope everybody's staying safe.